Hello and welcome to Trapunto. My name is Jamie. In this video, I will be showing you how I like to cut solid and non-directional fabric for English paper piecing. Let's get into it. So before we get into cutting, I would like to talk a little bit about fabric very briefly. So this video is focused on solid and non-directional prints. What I mean by that, for those who are unfamiliar with the different types of fabric out there, so a solid is a fabric that is the same color from selvage to selvage. So it's one solid color, no prints, no nothing, just plain color and some wrinkles. And this is what would be called a solid reading or a blender. So when you're standing a certain distance away from this fabric, it's going to read as this orange color. But when you get closer, you will see the print. And of course, with this kind of print, there really is no up, down, side to side. You can cut it however, and it doesn't matter. They're really great. And with this one, it's also considered non-directional, in my opinion, because I can turn it any which way, and there really is no up, down, left, or right to this fabric. In comparison, I have this piece of fabric here that has a very clear direction to it. You may recognize these peacocks from another video, but you can see all the peacocks are facing one way. So this fabric is considered directional. It is great for fussy cutting, and we'll be using it for fussy cutting in a different video. But this video is specifically for non-directional blender or solid reading and solid fabrics. And there's a reason for that, is because I hack and slash these fabrics because the print direction does not matter. So what I will do is I will start with the pink. So I've decided to make a little hexagon flower for the project throughout these videos. So we will need a center, and I have decided to use the pink for the center and the flowers for the petals of my flower. So the nice thing about solid fabric is there really is no right or wrong. I could press this if I wanted to before cutting. I most likely would. I don't press most of my fabric prior to cutting and basting because the basting process stretches it around the shape. Whereas if I have a deep crease like this, or even one further in, I would most likely give it a press. But the nice thing with solid fabric is there's no right or wrong side. So I'm just going to flip this over, and we're going to use this area right here. So these are 1-inch hexagons, and you can cut your pieces to have the selvage in your project if you like, because it's not going to show on the front. So I really could, if I want, not this close here, but I could have my piece this close to the selvage. You can see the holes that are here tell me that this is the selvage. Solids do not have printed selvages. Often you will see fabric that has like a white band on the bottom that will tell you the manufacturer, the name of the collection, those types of things. Solids typically don't have that. But the reason why I'm not going to use the solid for the most part for this project is because these are 1-inch hexagons. And when I fold over, this is going to be a lot of extra seam on this side. And even though I'm not really precious with my neatness on my back, I do like to not have too much bulk because I don't want my pattern or my project to have a lot of bulk on the back. So I'm going to move my hexagon a little bit in, and I'm actually going to turn it so I'm kind of lined up with this bottom edge here. And we might still get a little bit of selvage, but it's not going to hurt your project to have selvage. Now, when it comes to seam allowance, you need a minimum of a 1/4 inch. So this line right here is the 1/4 inch. And some people prefer 3/8 of an inch, which I believe is going to be this line right here. So you can see that there is quite a significant, it's not a huge difference, but it's enough where you can tell the difference when you're sewing, if that makes sense. So this down here is probably going to be more about the 3/8 line. I prefer 3/8 just because it gives me a little bit more wiggle room, more fabric to fold over, a little bit of security. However, the smaller your shapes are, you really want to be careful with adding that bulk in. And for those of you that do metric, 3/8 is about 1 centimeter. So this line here. So you can see it is a fair amount of seam allowance on your shape. So anywho, what I like to do is we only need one pink one. So we're just going to cut one pink one. So I will take my air erase pen and I will trace the shape of my hexagon. And sometimes I don't even trace the bottom line because I know that the edge of the fabric is where I need to be, essentially. So I have my hexagon, and I'm going to take my serrated scissors, just because I am only cutting one layer, and I'm just going to cut my piece out. It doesn't have to be neat, tidy, all that measured. You know, English paper piecing already takes a fair amount of time because you are stitching by hand. So the more time that we can save in the process, the better, I think. So now we have our pink hexagon. And again, this is an air erase pen, so these lines are going to go away over time. So that's how I cut singles. However, if I need to mass produce some shapes, I do something that's a little different. I haven't really seen many people do it, if anybody. If you cut your fabric this way, please let me know. I would love to have a comrade out there. So what I have done is I have cut a piece off of the flower print that is wide enough for my hexagons, either this way or this way. And when I'm cutting from a strip, I prefer to do it this way, and I will show you why. So we need 6 petals for our hexagon flower. So again, I have plenty of room from my points, and I have plenty of room on the side here. I'm just eyeballing it. And what I will do is I will trace my shape again. So now I have my shape on here, and I need 6 petals. So instead of tracing 6 shapes and cutting them out individually as I did on the pink, I will do a little ribbon fold. And hopefully I cut enough fabric for this. If not, we always have more. So I will fold my fabric to make sure that I have enough on this side, and the fold underneath, as you can see, matches with my seam here. So I will fold it the number of times that I need. So this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need one more. 6. So this will be 6. So you can see how I have it set here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will cut the excess off, just so I'm not messing around too much with it. And this is how I cut multiples at a time. So I will cut the angles. And again, it doesn't have to be neat. It doesn't have to be pretty. So, cut the angles. And then I cut the folds. So I just kind of pull my scissors a little taut in there to make sure. And then on the other side, pull my scissors taut in there. Clear my workspace here. And now we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 petals for our hexagon flower. And how long did that take? Not very long at all. So that's my quick and dirty cutting video for hexagons. Join me next time when I show you how I like to baste my hexagons.